Welcome back. Okay, in this section we're going to talk about hot sheets. You access this by going to Searches Hot Sheet. Let's just talk just a second about where hot sheets come from. The MLS we all think of as this computer thing, but it's way older than that. And there was a time before we had the computer where we used to have a book printed, and it was printed once a week in Texas. So we'd put all the information together, we'd send it off to Texas, they'd ship us back the book. Basically, by the time the book arrived, it was a week out of date, and it was going to be another week before you got the next book. So what did you do? If you wanted to know what was new on the market or what had gone into escrow, you would physically go to the association office and pick up the hot sheet. Okay, that's where the hot sheet comes from. Basically, I'm not a huge fan of the hot sheet. The biggest problem I have with the hot sheet is not the information. The information is great, but there's no way of automating it. Okay, so you have to remember to run it. I'm a big fan of things coming and finding me. And this afternoon, well, in our second session in MLS 2, one of the things I'll show you is how to do something similar to a hot sheet that is automated and will come and find you. There's no way of automating the hot sheet. But having said that, the hot sheet can be useful. Okay, so we went to Searches Hot Sheet, and here we are. There are two different ways of setting up a hot sheet. You can do a date range. I have no idea why you would, but you could say, Tuesday at 5 a.m. through Thursday at 7 p.m. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the days back. I've specified 10 days. Notice it says leave blank for all on the changes. I would strongly suggest that you leave it blank. In my mind, if there is a good use for the hot sheet, it is to show you a snapshot of everything that has happened in an area. So we're going to get to pick our type. We're going to say residential. We're going to leave it all the subtypes. And we're going to do ours by zip code. Let's say 91020, which is Montrose. Not too big of a zip code. Okay, and that's it. That's basically what we want. Now, let's say that we're going to want this in the future. So before we actually go and look at it, we're going to open the options panel, and it only gives us one choice: save this hot sheet. So I'm going to call this Montrose 10 days. You could have a Montrose 3 days. You could have a Montrose 7 days. You can have as many Montroses as you want, but this one's going to be Montrose 10 days. So I'm going to save it. All right, it's been saved, and now we're going to go to search. Now, the information in the hot sheet is actually very useful because it's going to show you everything that has happened in our area. Gosh, maybe I picked too small of an area. Okay, there's not a lot happened in Montrose in the last 10 days. You can see we've got price decreases. Actually, I mean, that's way too little, actually. So let's go back and do another one. Let's do a hot sheet, and this time I'm going to do 10 days back. And let's do zip code 91104. There's going to be a lot more in there. Okay, I'm going to save it again so I can come back to it. So 91104, 10 days. You can see how easy this is. Save, and now when I search it, we're going to have a whole lot more. So let's do a search. Okay. There we go. There's 56, so we've got a whole lot more to choose from. Okay, very good. Okay, now you'll see that it's broken out into the different categories. So we start out with the new listings. This allows us to see these visual indicators. We have 4 visual indicators in the MLS. The first one is this green ensign, and what this means is that this is a new listing. Now, each of the 4 visual indicators will stay with that listing for 7 days. So basically, where we have a new listing but no green N, it means it's been on the market longer than 7 days but less than 10 days because we ran our search for 10 days. Does that make sense? The idea is that you can look at a list of properties and immediately see what's new. All right. When we scroll down back on the market, again, this is our second visual indicator, the red B. Basically, this is typically something that was in escrow, fell out, and is now back on the market. That red B will again stay for 7 days. We also have price increases and price decreases. Now, this one says it's an increase, but the arrow's going the wrong way. I don't understand why that is. But basically, we only have one here. The green arrow and the green price, this means that that price has been reduced. Okay. Again, it will stay there for 7 days. And if you had a price increase, there are none here, you would have a red arrow and a red price. So a very useful way of seeing quickly what has happened in an area, what's sold, what's come on the market and stuff. There are 2 preset views of this, the hot sheet standard and then the hot sheet with pictures. If you don't like either one, you can create your own. you'll see that you have the same option to customize the grid as we had before. So if you don't like either of the two that are provided for you, you can come in and set up your own. So this is a hot sheet. Now, how do you get to it? Well, you go to Searches, Saved Hot Sheets, and you have the exact same choices that you had for the saved searches. You can run the hot sheet exactly as you created it by clicking on this. Remember, you're saving the criteria, not the results. So if you run this in 6 months or 6 years, it's going to show you whatever happened in the 10 days leading up to when you run it. You have pencil and paper if you want to change it. Let's say that this time you want to do 9/11/04, but you only want to do I don't know, townhouses. You can now run it just with that criteria, and it'll be a much smaller number. Hopefully, there's something there. Well, there's one. Well, there we go. Okay, so basically, doing the saved hot sheets using the pencil and paper, you change your criteria. And then lastly, if you've forgotten what your criteria is, you can view your criteria. So that is hot sheets. They're kind of useful, but I'll show you this in the second MLS class how to do something that is similar but is automated and will come and find you. Anyway, thanks for watching.